Hey there guys, what's going on today? Another review video here. This is actually a comparison slash review video of all of these controllers that I've had thus far for the Xbox 360. Okay, except that one on the right. You.
Over there. Disqualified.
Yeah, it's my Old Spice, yeah, my deodorant. My favorite deodorant. I'll review that another day, but, yeah, Aqua Reef. Awesome, scent. Anyway. Okay, so I just put a review video up concerning the brand new Hori Gamepad. I'm sorry. The Hori Gamepad, Gempad EX, or I guess you could say, Hori Gamepad. Get the pun, game. But I just refer to it as a Gempad since, when people say, gamepad, they think, oh, gamepad, anyway, this is the latest model from Hori. And they made other models. I've never bought any of the other models previously. I wanted to, but they were actually sold out of them. Or one guy had one brand new listed for like $120. I'm like, yeah, screw that, that's not happening. So, I figured, I did some research and noticed they came out with a new one, so I waited, and, I just did the unboxing review video. I said I was going to do a follow-up video, and this will be that follow-up video, as well as comparison video. I'll get onto these controls in a second, but first let me elaborate on this controller. I just want to say that this D-pad is awesome. It's great. I mean, you can't go wrong. It's got a nice feel to it. See if I can show you here. See, nice comfortable feel. And this switch here, I found out what it does exactly. It's even though I read the box earlier in that first video, this switch is actually an analog sensitivity switch. See, I had it set on medium, so there's 3 different settings. There's this one, which is the loosest, excuse me, the looser fit one, if you want, I guess, if you want to say. See, it's kind of, now I'm going to set it to the middle, and you'll see it's a little bit stiffer. No dirty jokes, please. But you'll see it's not as fast as it was earlier. And then if I do the third one, it's even slower. So that's kind of neat. With that in mind, I would say this is a pretty appropriate for controller for even, maybe the FPS player. Because a lot of people that I know play FPSs, they're always, one of their things is, analog stick sensitivity and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty cool. Like I said, may not be for everybody. That may be a whole other ballpark, depending on what games you play. But let me shut the lights here for a second, because you can't really see. You could see it somewhat on the light here, but there's like little bulbs that are like bright neon. Here, let me shut the light, the big light. Give you guys an idea as a TV. Yeah, so this is what it looks like in the dark. Pretty nifty, yeah. And can't really see it on camera, but where those big bright spots are, in real life you could see literally the little bulb inside the controller. So it's pretty wicked. It's pretty cool. Very thick wire too. Like, a lot of these wires are very thin, they seem like quality, but this is actually very nice. See, look how thick this wire is compared to, say, some of the others. It's thin, thick. Nice, thick, strong white wire. So pretty cool, pretty neat. The buttons are rubber. Not the face buttons or the triggers, but the select start buttons. Rubber. This has a nice little grip. I will say one thing about the analog stick. If you're looking for a rubber grip, a rubberized grip, you're not going to get that. It's plastic with little indents there. So that may be a turnoff for some of you analog buffs, but yeah. But like I said, I would get this controller if I'm a fighting game fan and looking for a solid D-pad. You know, the face buttons are good, decent size, triggers, more parallel, flatter. I should say the triggers, left and right triggers are flatter because the trigger itself the button is smaller. See now if you were to compare it to say the standard controller, it's got an angle to it, see? There's more centimeters to push it down. Whereas this one, not so much. And you got this one, the Mad Catz. Yeah, weird looking trigger. Where it's more of almost a hook grip button. So good for the fingers, but it's a little thin on top, so that may feel a little weird. And you got here the PowerA, I think this is the Mini Pro controller. Yeah, Mini Pro. And I like this controller. This is actually probably my favorite controller to play MK on. Until it broke. Now, what I mean by broke, see the D-pad is awesome also. Perfect size. Not too small, not too big. Like, just perfect size for this controller. The grip is phenomenal. Feels perfect in the hand. Rubber grips on the analog stick. This also has a button on the back here, which is a neon option. You know, it'll light up the whole controller bright green, or if you hit it once, twice, whatever, it shuts off like a regular controller. This controller I would also rate like very good, highly, for fighting games especially, 10 out of 10. My only problem with PowerA is, and I don't know if it's a company, it happened on 2 of my controllers, or it could be my Xbox just being shitty. So I don't know, but all I know is I bought 2 PowerA controllers and both of them crapped out pretty much in a similar way. What I mean by that is it just wouldn't register. I would plug it in and it wouldn't register. The light would actually light up, but it wouldn't actually move. It's almost as if the long, lengthy cord here caused it to not register for whatever reason. And I have read some other people complain about that, because it's got like, I think, a 15-foot cord here or something. It's very long. So yeah. Otherwise, it's a great control. I mean, it's just a shame that, you know, the wire seems to crap out after a while. I mean, I had it for, I think, a month or 2, and then it just started acting crazy on, you know, going nuts. Broke. This one is also controlled by PowerA. This one is the PowerA Airflow, and this also lights up on the back here. But it also has a fan there. See, the fan vent? That's if, you know, you're one of these players where you get so into it, say you have sweaty hands, and, you know, you need to, instead of taking a tissue every, you know, few minutes and wiping your hands down because it's so sweaty and palmy from you playing and playing a tense match and you're nervous or whatever the case is. Some people, they sweat when they play. Some people, they don't. Some people do. Rubberized grips. Great. Nice buttons. Got the flash buttons here. Got the start back buttons. I keep this corner select. So if I call it select, I'm just stuck in my old school mentality. You know, SNES, start select. A lot of the newest systems don't have start and back as opposed to select. But anyway, you know what I mean. So, and then you got more vents here. And very quiet too, you know. Very nice. Very comfortable too. One thing about the PowerA controls, I gotta say, as far as comfort, they're as comfortable as any control on the market, as any standard Xbox control feels in the palm of your hand. You know, it just sits very nicely in your hand. You know, it doesn't cramp like some other, maybe like a smaller controller or something. So yeah, that's a good plus. And again, the only problem with this is pretty much same issue I had with this controller, where sometimes it would just stop registering. Now, I don't know if this is like, I've heard, like I said, other people complain about saying that there may be wire issues with this company, because I've read some similar complaints online where the controllers just stop working. You know, it's not like the buttons are screwed up or something jams, it's just they don't work. You plug it in and it doesn't register. I don't know. So yeah. Otherwise, these are great controllers. I would rate them like, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 for a fighting game like Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter or a 2D fighter in general. They may not be up to your liking for, say, maybe a 3D game or if you're one of those joystick players, but if you're looking for a great pad with a D-pad actually worth it, you can't go wrong with these. Although this one's a little thinner, so that might irk you a little bit, but it gets the job done. This one I like better personally, even though the control itself is smaller. You can tell the difference there. So yeah, so in that respect, I rate this one a 9 out of 10 and this one a 10 out of 10, just because I think the D-pad is a little bit bigger. You can actually see it's a little bit slightly thicker, and this one's a little bit more thinner edged out, and it just feels more comfy in the hand, But if you're a fan of the airflow and you like that whole, thing with cooling your hands off, then go with that one. Now, on to the next, Catz. This controller, let's just say this company, I do not like this company at all. I bought several products from them over the years, from Super Nintendo days, and everything I bought from them has crapped out on me. Everything. And these are the worst controls in my opinion. You could kind of tell, very cheap, crappy plastic quality. I went through 4 of these during when Ultimate MK3 came out on the Xbox. So yeah, 4 of them. There's no one, the button got stuck. Another, the block button just stopped working. And the other one, I think one of the face buttons got stuck. It would kind of stick. And that's like within a year. Cause like I said, a year's time I went through 4 of these. $25 each, major ripoff, do not buy it. I would not buy Catz stuff, period, but that's my opinion. Some people love their joysticks and that other stuff, but I think their stuff is very cheap quality, very cheap plastic, crappy. I just don't like it. And it's a shame because their D-pad actually isn't half bad, I mean, it's just, the controls don't work, Like if you beat up on them, like, day in, day out, they just crap out. I don't know. So, in that respect, I gotta rate them the lowest probably overall, as far as third-party controls out there, with better D-pads than the 360 D-pad. So, Catz, the fact that I went through 4 of them, and I have a lot of experience with them, try to give them chance after chance before I hit PowerA and Hori pads, yeah, I would have to give them a 5 out of 10. It's pretty much what you're paying for. It's cheaper than other controls, like you're talking $20, $25 range, but keep in mind, you're getting cheaper quality and they're going to break on you. Do not by any means buy Catz, unless you absolutely have to and you just need another controller for craps and giggles, you know what I'm saying? Because if you want like a good quality controller, third party, because you can't stand the 360 pad like most people, don't go for the Catz. Get the PowerA or go with the Hori. Trust me. Okay, moving on now. Oh, as far as as far as grip, it's okay. It kind of feels a little weird in my palm here, like it sticks out. Whereas this one, it's a little different. It just kind of fits in there. See, look at the way my hand is. I don't know. It's kind of, yeah. Okay, standard Xbox controller. I did have the transforming D-pad one, but that also broke. I from hitting down, it just got stuck and down. Some people say it broke within the middle of it. For me, it was hitting down too much on it. That's a good pad. However, they need to improve the quality of the pad, meaning like they got to make it more mash-proof. Outside of that, it was a good controller, so I would give that one an 8 out of 10 for the transforming Xbox D-pad controller. Otherwise, yeah, they could have improved on that design. And like I said, if you search online, you'll get tons of stories saying how people bought that controller and the D-pad, the transforming D-pad just broke or cracked or something. It's always the D-pad. And with me, like I said, it got stuck in the down mechanism. So this is the standard one, however, and I use this for most of my games, and including MK, when I didn't have any other controls to go back on. And again, not a good D-pad for a fighting game, but you can adapt to it. It's just a pain in the butt. As far as comfort, very comfortable controller. Nice feeling on the triggers. The face buttons are top quality. The control itself is top quality. It's just the D-pad is crap, in my opinion. Analog sticks are nice, rubbery, nice resistance. Not too fast, like say a PlayStation controller. Yeah, this D-pad, it's not good for fighters, guys. Maybe a 3D fighter, you could get by with it. But a 2D fighter, ask anybody almost that plays fighting games, especially 2D games like MK and Street Fighter, they'll tell you that this pad sucks. And take it from me, it's not that great. Honestly, this is probably, as far as just the D-pad itself, not the control. The control, as far as the grip and comfort, that's okay. But as far as the D-pad itself, it's got to be one of the worst I've ever played with in my life. It's just, it's not separated here in between the plus signs like a normal D-pad should be. You hit one direction and the whole thing seems to move, which I don't like. Yeah. Now the new Xbox One D-pad, which I've held, that actually feels a lot better. I think they improved on that design finally. Only took them 2 consoles, but yeah. Otherwise, this one is, like I said, just an emergency one, and I wouldn't go through it unless I absolutely had to. So, as far as control, overall, comfort, I would give it like a 8 or a 9 out of 10. But for most games, but as far as the D-pad, for like a fighting game, I gotta give it, talking like a 3 out of 10. I know some people are like, oh, that's probably a low score, but I'm telling you, if you try to play Mortal Kombat on this thing, or Ultimate MK3, or any of the old school MKs, or MK9, any of those older MKs especially, or Street Fighter or something like that, you'll totally see what I mean, and you're going to be like, oh my god, why aren't my moves coming out, why is he jumping? Just, yeah, trust me. Don't go for this controller if you're a fighting game fanatic. You'll get frustrated. Okay, and last but not least, the newest Hori controller that I got. Now, went over quality of the buttons and everything already, told you what, the specs of it. My only remote issue is that these are plastic and not rubberized on the top. But again, no big deal if you're looking for a fighting pad. Being as how most people do not play fighting games with the analog stick and use the D-pad. Face buttons are great, triggers are good. Left bumper, right bumper, plastic, but better than quality than the Mad Catz. I would say at least on par with the, maybe even a little better than the PowerA even, but not quite as high standard as quality as the Xbox controller, but still very good though, very good controls. Very top quality, top of the line, very solid. Look at that, the build of it, the look, screws in the back. So it's very well built, very top quality. The Hori Gem Pad, the Gamepad EX, and it comes in 4 different colors. It comes in a cobalt blue, comes in a ruby red. This is the onyx black, and I think the other one was like a silver whitish color. So yeah, I got the black with a blue neon lighting inside and a white on the back. So really cool. And yeah, again, great D-pad. Definitely one of the best I've played with in some time for MK, and I would rate this for the D-pad I was playing earlier. I'd rate it a 10 out of 10. So if I gotta try with other games like Street Fighter, etc., but I'm sure it's gonna work well on that too. Didn't miss my buffered moves, didn't miss my button taps, crouching, jumping. I didn't jump when I didn't want to, etc. Like that control. So yeah, overall 10 out of 10 for this control. My only remote complaint with this one, if I had a pet peeve about it. 2 little things. One, the left and right bumper triggers. The left and right triggers could be a little bit higher because I'm used to, pushing more button down, if you know what I mean. They're kind of more flatter here, but you kind of get used to that really fast. And the only other thing is that it could have been maybe a smidge bigger, It's kind of small, like, if you compare it to this one, it's about on par, maybe a little bit even smaller than this one. This is a small controller, so if you have very large hands, you may not like this controller. But if you have average hands or small hands, you'll get used to it very quick. I have just average hands, so. But yeah, again, great controller. for fighting games. Great overall. I compare these, put them all in the same picture for you here. Alright. So yeah. Out of all these, I would rate them in this order. The Hori pad, the PowerA pad second, the Mini Pro, the PowerA Airflow, the Mad Catz, which I really hate to say, you know, I'm almost tempted to put the Xbox in front of it just because of the quality of these things. It's so cheap, such a piece of crap plastic, you know. And then the Xbox. But again, this is strictly on fighting game pads for the Dpad, from best to worst. So, in that respect, I would go in this order. As far as overall quality of a controller, I would definitely go, obviously, the Hori pad and the Xbox 360 pad are great quality. And so is the PowerA. These are the top 3 brands right here as far as overall quality. The Mad Catz, garbage. Just like I said, it's cheap plastic. Take my word for it, guys. If you're going to go for a good D-pad, third party, and you play fighting games, go for the Hori pads or the PowerA. So this has been PeteMKF30 with another review. Check out, keep in touch for, you know, for more videos soon, and comment, rate, subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope it's been very helpful. Any questions, just shoot a comment. Later.